Hey everyone, how you doing today? As mentioned in our daily financial news this morning, we have a couple of experts on, and who we have now is Dana from Hemlane. How you doing, Dana?
I'm great. Thanks, Michael, for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate our conversations every other week. We get to talk about what's going on in the world of actually being a mom and pop landlord, right? I have lots of experts that cover lots of different areas, but no one like you is just talking about nuts and bolts of being a mom and pop landlord. So I appreciate our time every couple of weeks.
Likewise, and you were once there as well,
Yes.
Michael. Don't forget when you started with your first rental.
Oh yeah. No, I remember pretty very well. I still consider myself on the mom and pop side. So I really do enjoy our conversation. So the first topic we're going to run over today is QuickBooks, right? I get asked all the time, "Hey, I'm just starting out. I've got my first one. What should I use?" So I thought I'd get your opinion first, and I'll jump into mine after. But what do you think about QuickBooks? You know, mom and pop landlord got one, got two, maybe three in different parts of the country, all that stuff. So what are you thinking about QuickBooks?
So first of all, I have to start by saying I love QuickBooks.
Yeah.
It's been around for longer than me. It's older than me. It was born in 1983. I was born in 1986. I love QuickBooks. I use it myself. I think it really depends on, just to start with, how many rentals you have. If you have one or two rentals and you're not an accountant, it's going to be too much for you. Learning the system, it's not really set up for property management. You have like classes and
Yeah.
projects and accounts and sub accounts, and it's going to take you a long time to learn it. The
Yeah.
other thing is QuickBooks support is not specific for property management. So if you ask them about how to set it up properly, a lot of times they say, oh, it's a self-service tool,
Yeah.
and they can't really tell you how to set it up, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, from my perspective, when you get larger, you're definitely going to want to look at QuickBooks, especially when you start saying, okay, I have much more complex reporting that I need to do. I think QuickBooks is fantastic. But to start with, I don't know if you need that full accounting solution right off the bat. I think
Yeah.
Excel or a property management tool will be great for you to use initially, and it's going to be a lot faster, and you can focus on the things when you own one or two rental units that you need to. And what those things are is like reducing liability, making sure you're following the law and your tenants are set
Mm.
up for success, all the important things, versus focusing on getting your property set up and calling, tenants in the system jobs and everything that just makes QuickBooks much more
Yeah.
complex.
I,
So that's, yeah.
so I'm a trained accountant, right? Numbers clearly are more my forte, not the written
Yeah.
word. I don't think QuickBooks is a great answer for landlords. I mean, it is my short answer, both on the small and larger side. If you're large enough, or you have, so if you're an accountant or a CPA and you're just comfortable in that world, go nuts, right? But that's like
Yeah.
1%, 5%. It's some small handful that you just think and operate like QuickBooks is, because it really is. If you think the way QuickBooks was written, it's just software. You get it, and it's simple. But that is such a small subsegment of the folks that I talk to. Very, very few are there. I think QuickBooks is, first off, it's too much for a small landlord. Call it less than five. If you are large enough, and let's say you have 50, and you pay someone to set it up for you, that could work, right? If you have somebody that has like a landlord template and you're paying some outside consultant, $3,000 or $2,500 to set up the landlord templates, that could work. But that you're going to be of size to pay for that. I got to tell you, when we started, we ran what I'll call dual books, right? Because we had a property manager. I've been very clear since day one, but we wanted to understand the business. We just copied the tax return form. I forget what
Yeah.
number it was, and we just used Excel for every property, and then we added fields as we got better: tenant name, move-in dates, stuff like that. But very quickly, Excel became unattainable. It just became too much. So that's why I think the answer has to be a property management platform, and it probably should be that way from day one. QuickBooks is too much for most. Excel gets unruly because you don't update it. It doesn't have versions. You don't really know what you should be tracking. It doesn't really have templates. It's just rows and columns. I think the answer has to be a property management solution. And Yeah, it just has to be.
Yeah, and with that, it's the Schedule E you're talking
Yeah,
about, right?
Schedule
With
E,
all of
that's the one.
the,
Yes.
yeah. So no, totally agree with you on that. I think, Excel is great, but then it doesn't actually physically do the work. Like it doesn't physically collect the rent. It's a lot of manual tracking.
Yeah.
I get it when you start with one property. You're really scrappy and you use Excel to begin with, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's also a culture thing. I feel like a lot of times when I hear QuickBooks and real estate investors talking about it, they come from something like the commercial world where they're just so used to you must have an accounting solution set up first before anything else. And it's like, wait, the accounting is not the most important part when you think about liability, when you think about risk. It's not as important as the operational side of things, in my opinion. And I'm a recovering financial analyst, so I agree with you on that.
I agree. QuickBooks is too much. It puts the onus on the wrong place, and it puts what it does well is, to your point, kind of the least important, right? At the end of the year, yes, you, Mr. and Mrs. Landlord, will need to produce a financial statement to file your taxes, but there's a year of operations QuickBooks is just unruly unless you are trained and you use it for your small business and it's just another version, or you're of size where you can pay for someone to build you the templates. But let's be mom and pops, 2, 3, 4, 10. You just need a property management platform. There's just so much other stuff with owning property that QuickBooks is not right for.
Yeah. And it's expensive too. I mean, if you're trying to do like ACH fees through it, ACH fees, they charge 1%, which 1% off rent collection is a lot of money. And so you can't really use it for the operational side. It depends on if you're on desktop or online. There's also $3 per transaction, but either way, it's expensive from that perspective as well, to actually do the operations through it, the rent collection.
Yeah. What I got to tell you folks, if you're just thinking about this and you're looking at QuickBooks, I would tell you to get Hemlane's 30-day trial, and they can just get that at hemlane.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And then type in, don't forget, Zuber, capital ZUBER. You get 20% off your first year.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad we're still giving that to everyone. Folks, if you're thinking about QuickBooks, go give Hemlane a trial. It's 30 days. Go play it out. See what's happening. Any closing thoughts on this, Dana?
Not at this time.
Very cool. Thanks.